$600 million gone. One day you think you're going to the moon. The next, it turns out you just paid for the other rich guy to go into space without you. This is a story of why you have to be careful investing in crypto. But you know what you don't have to be careful with? Pumpinzilla, the stock. It's free. Just like and subscribe, and that's it. You're in. Believe me, the dividends are unreal. Here's one Zilla holder who invested at 10K subscribers. Now look at him. Doctors hate him. But anyways, let's get on to the video. Ladies and gentlemen, now look are unreal. Here's one Zilla holder who invested at 10K subscribers. Now look at him. Doctors hate him. But anyways, let's get on to the video. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the $10 million studio. I'm your host, CoffeeZilla, and today I want to talk about the Poly Network hack. If you haven't heard of it, it's giant news. $600 million were abruptly stolen in one day, making this the biggest hack in decentralized finance history. And I know the words decentralized finance don't exactly excite some of you guys. It's also known as DeFi. Sort of like X-ray crystallography. For most of the population, it kind of invites you to gently drift off to sleep. But I promise this story is worth sticking around for. Hackers, trolls, even a guy quoting Ronald Reagan about tearing down that wall. It's become a fascinating whodunit mystery, which is still ongoing. Let me catch you up to speed on what happened. The key idea in DeFi is that no centralized authority can control your money. Instead, it's all built on computer code. What happens when the code is exploited? On August 10th at 7:38 a.m., Poly Network, a DeFi protocol, alerts everyone that they had just been hacked. They list the wallets of the hacker and ask the exchanges to blacklist these stolen assets. We call on miners of affected blockchain and crypto exchanges to blacklist tokens coming from the above addresses. And a manhunt immediately begins. The first order of business: how much money was stolen? Answer: $611 million. And at this point, it seems like a race. Can this hacker launder the money? Or will enough blockchain exchanges blacklist them and make it impossible to move? And at first, it appears that the hacker might be too late. 3 failed transactions come from his wallet, trying to send $130 million. The fact they failed may mean he's stuck. But then help arrives from an unlikely source. Exactly $3.76 of Ethereum, but with it, millions of dollars worth of advice. Because you can leave notes with each transaction, and the sender, hanashiro.eth, had a note for our hacker. Don't use your USDT token. You've gotten blacklisted. See, it seems that Tether had been the first to act, freezing $33 million in the hacker's accounts. I guess they didn't want to see what happened if those had been redeemed. And this is why the hacker's transactions failed. And the hacker seems to have noticed the note because the next transaction went through without Tether. This one being worth almost $100 million in USDC and about $700,000 worth of DAI. The hacker, known as the Poly Network exploiter, then decides he's very thankful and decides to pay hanashiro.eth 13.37 Ethereum. Now, this is pretty wild because it seems like they aren't working to $700,000 worth of DAI. The hacker, known as the Poly Network exploiter, then decides he's very thankful and decides to pay hanashiro.eth 13.37 Ethereum. Now, this is pretty wild because it seems like they aren't working together, but instead this guy maybe just like wants to watch the world burn, this hanashiro.eth. We don't know who he is. But if we take a look at what he did with the money that he was given, about $40,000, he starts donating the money in 1.337 ETH increments to a series of charities, as well as Vitalik, the creator of Ethereum. And as before, with each of these wallet sends, he puts a note. This one reads, "We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones making a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making, we're saving our own lives, it's true, we'll make a better day, just you and me." Which, if you didn't know, are the lyrics to "We Are the World" by Michael Jackson. He continues by sending this amount of ETH to other organizations like archive.org, and then surprisingly starts donating in different languages, and even at one point sends the full Ronald Reagan speech about tearing down the Berlin Wall. So pretty clearly this guy is a massive troll. But for Hanashiro.eth, the magnitude of what he did may have started to sink in, because the next thing he says is, I'm just a crypto enthusiast passing by, checked hacker Tether Circle blacklist status, and sent that message. And again, I'm not the hacker. The funds are my personal and lawful assets from arbitrage. And of course, the reason he's saying this is pretty obvious. If you look at his token transactions, he has a lot of money. Here's him transacting $450,000 worth of USD coin, which means he has a lot of money. He's a big whale, and clearly he's probably KYC'd with other exchanges, meaning they know who he is. So it seems likely that he realized this little troll he did may have been much bigger than he realized, and legal action could feasibly be taken against him. But with that Hanashiro component out of the way, let's go back to the hacker, because whoever hacked Poly Network seemed also to be in a bit of a crisis themselves. This person has $600 million in a crypto.
Eliminate all targets in the AO. Fight to earn redeployment.
Wallet. But with the world watching, it was turning out sort of hard to move that amount of money without everybody knowing and tracing it. So this hacker starts posting messages on the blockchain, suddenly talking about returning the money. This is one of them. Quote, not so interested in money, now considering returning some tokens or just leaving them here. Going through his messages, he seems unprepared for his next move. Like he didn't realize that he could possibly even get this far in a heist. Like a bad guy who's been caught so early so many times that he didn't think this far ahead. Because his next messages come off very scatterbrained. He says, what if I make a new token and let the DAO decide?
Time to earn your freedom, soldier.
where the tokens go. DAO meaning decentralized autonomous organization. In other words, let the people decide where these hacked funds go. But then as quickly as he says that, he says, quote, "It's already a legend to win so much fortune. It will be an eternal legend to save the world. I made the decision, no more DAO." And then at last, ready to return the fund. Now you have to imagine, while this guy is figuring this out, the DeFi world is panicking. $600 million is sitting in the hands of an undecided hacker, now trying to maybe play the good guy after he realized his money is probably never going to be able to be spent. Because if he tried to spend it, the police would be at his door in a heartbeat. But make no mistake, this guy wanted to launder the funds because he said, "Wonder why Tornado? Will miner stop me? Teach me, please." Here he's talking about Tornado Cash, a tool that is often used for money laundering. It's a mixing service. The problem is, with amounts this large, it would be incredibly hard to mix. And so in the end, this guy got in touch with Poly Network and decides he's going to mixing service. The problem is, with amounts this large, it would be incredibly hard to mix. And so in the end, this guy got in touch with Poly Network and decides he's going to start returning some of the funds. And once again, he starts playing the hero, hacking for good. I did save the project. But this doesn't seem entirely insincere because Poly Network later confirms that they started receiving money from the hacker. As of recording this video, $260 million of assets have been returned. And as for the hacker, he seems quite pleased with himself because he started a Q&A, ladies and gentlemen, like it's a Reddit AMA or something. I'm going to read you through part of this stuff. It's kind of long, but it starts with Q&A part 1, why hacking? For fun. Why Poly Network? Cross-chain hacking is hot. Why transferring tokens? This is where I think he's covering his own ass. He says, to keep it safe. He says, when spotting the bug, I had a mixed feeling. Ask yourself what you would do had you facing so much fortune. Asking the project team politely so that they can fix it? Anyone could be the traitor given $1 billion. I can trust nobody. The only solution I could come up with is saving it in a trusted account while keeping myself anonymous and safe. So basically saying, I couldn't trust anyone given the size of this exploit, so I had to take all the money into my own account to save you guys. And I think most people would sort of call BS on this at some level because it does seem like if he could launder the funds and get away with it, he probably would. But at the same time, it's hard to be mad about this guy who seems to be returning some of the funds. But his reasoning is just childlike because he said, why selling and swapping the stables? Because the stable coins. He said, I was pissed at the Poly team for their initial response. They urged others to blame and hate me before I had any chance to reply, since I had no plan laundering them. This is such a weird response and is like the mentality of a child. He says he's mad because they didn't give him the benefit of the doubt when he just took $600 million from the project. I don't know, I'd be pretty skeptical as well. And you might be thinking, this guy seems almost childish. How did they even steal this much money? How did this exploit work? It did seem like an outside attacker and